been a busy few days of news in the world of Destiny 2, with Stasis Nerfs plans coming out, trials coming back and then swiftly getting cancelled again, and we've also got news of Grandmaster Nightfalls coming back next week. So today I'm going to dig into all that news, so let's get to it. And if you like this video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below for all the latest Destiny 2 content and turn on notifications by hitting that bell. Well, first of all, let's dive into the Stasis Nerfs, and Bungie released a bunch of info this past Thursday related to Stasis Nerfs in the Crucible. Plus, one of the most important things coming out of this announcement, it looks like Bungie are finally balancing PvE and PvP sandboxes differently, which is great news for those of us who like fun in PvE and not the constant seesaw of balance that we have to maintain between the PvP and the PvE communities. So Bungie wrote Stasis Tuning Preview for the 23rd of March, and we made some targeted changes to Stasis in Season 12 and wanted to see how they landed before making any more adjustments. Now that we've got several weeks of data to analyse, we're ready to make some further changes to address some additional pain points of Stasis in PvP. Our goal with these changes is to reduce some of the frustrations when fighting against Stasis subclasses in the Crucible, whilst maintaining their power in PvE content wherever possible. With that said, some changes require us to adjust the global behaviour of some abilities, and in the patch notes below, we've explicitly mentioned which changes will affect Crucible functionality only. And we're going to be closely monitoring ability performance and feedback as Season 13 continues. So first of all, we've got the Hunter and the Shatter Dive, so removed damage resistance from Shatter Dive and added a 4-second cooldown between activations of Shatter Dive. Next up, we've got the Withering Blade, so decreased Withering Blade damage against players from 90 to 65 damage, and PvE damage is unchanged. Decreased Withering Blade slow stacks applied to players from 60 to 40 stacks, and PvE slow stacks are unchanged. Decrease the target acquisition of ranged Withering Blade after it impacts a player from 12 meters to 8 meters, and range after impacting PvE enemies is unchanged. Next up, we've got the Titan nerfs, and quite a lot to go through here. So, Glacial Quake removed AoE freeze against players on Supercast, and will still freeze PvE enemies on Cast. Reduced damage resistance while in Super from 60 to 50%. Although that's only a 10% reduction, that is going to feel like a lot. Increase the energy cost of using Shiver Strike whilst in Glacial Quake from 3% to 7% of super energy. That means you are going to use up your super much more quickly, and using the combo of a Shiver Strike into a heavy slam attack will now cost the full super energy of both the Shiver Strike and the slam, and previously it only costed energy from the slam. Next up, we got the Shiver Strike changes, so increased downward velocity applied to Shiver Striking players when they're slow to pull them out of the air more strongly. And as a Titan main, these nerfs do make me a little bit sad, but to be honest, Glacial Quake has been really powerful, so it's good to see that get nerfed in PvP. Next up, we've got the Warlock changes, so first of all we've got Winter's Wrath, improved tracking of Winter's Wrath projectiles, now tracking strength decays from its max value over 10 seconds instead of 2.2 seconds. Increase the size of the Warlock's super projectile's proximity detonation radius from 1.5 meters to 1.65 meters, and the proximity detonation now starts at its largest and scales down to 40% over time. We've also got a change to Penumbral Blast, so decreased Penumbral Blast damage against players from 80 to 30 damage. That is a really big nerf there, and PvE damage is unchanged. And for the Ice Flare bolts, so fixed a bug where Ice Flare bolts will continuously try to switch targets, increased target acquisition range of Ice Flare bolts by 33%, and increased turning speed of Ice Flare bolts so they can more effectively hit nearby targets. And we got a nerf to Chaos Reach 2, so decrease the amount of super energy refunded when cancelling Chaos Reach early. And we've got some generic changes too, and these are going to affect all Stasis abilities. So first of all, we got the Duskfield Grenade, so reduced how strongly Duskfield Grenade pulls players inwards, effectively reducing the pull range from 9.5 meters to approximately 6 meters, and PvE pull impulse is unchanged. Reduce the slow stacks applied to the players by a grenade detonation from 20 to 10 stacks, and detonation of slow stacks are unchanged against PvE enemies. And reduce the slow stacks applied to players on each tick of the grenade from 10 to 5. Per tick slow stacks are unchanged in PvE. and adjusted the UI presentation of slow status to display slow stacks as x over 100 instead of x over 10 to increase the readability when adding slow stacks amounts that are fewer than 10. So quite a lot of changes to Dustfield Grenade there. Next up we got Stasis Crystals. So reduce crystal shatter damage against players from 85 max to 55 minimum to 55 max and 25 minimum, and PvE damage is unchanged. Then we got Whisper of Chains, so reduce the Whisper of Chains damage resistance bonus whilst in super from 25% to 5%, and damage resistance when not in a super is unchanged, and this only affects damage from other guardians. We got Whisper of Torment, so fixed a bug where players could continuously proc Whisper of Torment while standing inside an opponent's barricade. And finally we got the Stasis Fragment quests, significantly reduce the objective completion values for all Crucible Fragment quests. So pretty good news all round there, and Stasis is going to be brought down a notch or two in Crucible, and hopefully we're going to see some players return as there's been somewhat of an exodus over the past few months. Well, let me know what you think of these Stasis nerfs. Do you think that Stasis was too strong in Crucible, and what do you make of these changes? Well, talking of Crucible, Trials has been cancelled again, and yesterday at approximately 6 PM GMT, Trials was pulled from the playlist, and on Bungie Help they said, due to an issue with Fireteam Rejoin functionality, Trials of Osiris has been disabled for the remainder of the weekend, and we will provide updates when available. And that was followed up a few minutes later with the Lighthouse will be re-enabled soon for those who have access with a flawless card, and players may also redeem any earned Trials tokens to Saint 14 throughout the weekly reset. And Trials Report gave a glimpse as to why this might have been. So since Trials is cancelled, we don't see any harm in releasing this info anymore. So far this weekend on PC, 32,500 Lighthouse visitors, and nearly 10,500 of those went without a kill, and that is 32% of the entire population. On Xbox we had 4,923 and 1,471 went to the Lighthouse without a kill, and that is 30%. On PlayStation it was 35%, and on Stadia it was 54%, although on Stadia it was only 323 people. So loads of people are getting to the Lighthouse without a kill, and this does hark back to the week before with the conspiracy about win trading. So Bungie did say in their recent This Week at Bungie that we've resolved an issue that prevented Trials of Osiris from being active over the past 2 weekends, and Trials of Osiris will be re-enabled and active at the daily reset on Friday, March 12th. Although it seems they didn't do anything to fix the win trading issue, although I'm not really sure they can. It's particularly bad this weekend as we've got the Igneous Hammer for 5 wins and the Adept version of the Messenger for the flawless Lighthouse loot. And really this is all down to win trading once again. It's tough really to see how Bungie are going to fix this unless they remove the rejoin feature in Trials, which I guess is entirely possible. Well, let me know what you think. Did you play Trials this weekend, and did you manage to get your hands on an Adept Messenger? And how do you think that Bungie can fix Trials and stop cancelling every weekend, because it is a little bit annoying? And finally this week in the news we've got Grandmaster Nightfalls coming back. So Bungie informed us that Grandmaster Nightfalls would be making a return on the 16th of March, which is next Tuesday at reset time, so it's something to look forward to if you are 1325 power. So Bungie said, are you ready for a challenge? And starting on the 16th of March, Grandmaster Nightfalls are becoming available once again. Well, if you've never heard of Grandmaster Nightfalls, no problem, let's get you up to speed. So strike difficulty is set to 1350 power, and minimum power required is 1325. Contest mode is enabled, so even if you're higher than 1325, you will be capped, and each strike will have a specific set of modifiers to ramp up the difficulty, so make sure you inspect each one to know which champions you're going to face and what other challenges await you. One Grandmaster Nightfall will be available each week until April the 20th, and starting April the 20th you will have the opportunity to blaze through all Grandmaster Nightfalls through a direct launch playlist. And if you miss a week, the final 3 weeks of the season are your opportunity to catch up. So this season will be your first opportunity to earn Adept weapons through PvE activity, and while Shadow Price, Palindrome and the Swarm have been available when completing lower difficulty Nightfalls, Adept versions will only be available through Grandmaster difficulty. These weapons grant additional stat bonuses when masterworked and can be socketed with Adept weapon mods. You can earn these mods in Trials of Osiris, and you can also earn them through Grandmaster Nightfalls as well. Additionally, this is going to be your first opportunity to earn a gilded version of the Conqueror title. If you see someone sporting this in a few weeks, you know they went through an ordeal to earn it. Well, not just one, many. Well, now it's the time to form a fire team and start strategizing on how you're going to work together to overcome the challenge. Smoke bombs might come in handy when things are looking dire, or a well-placed Nova bomb to eliminate some champions that have been stunned near each other. Word on the street is that the cult of Eon is rising up through the ranks, helping Guardian keep that ammunition stocked during the fight. Well, that is it for the Destiny news for now, and let me know what you think down in the comments related to the Stasis Nerfs, Trials being cancelled once again, and are you going to jump into the GM Nightfalls? Well, as always, thank you so much for watching or listening. For more Destiny 2 content, hit that subscribe button down below and subscribe to This Week in Video Games. And if you want to join the community, check out the Discord link in the description, or you can follow me on Twitter at TWIVG Podcast. If you enjoyed this video or found it useful, liking and sharing the video would really help me out. Otherwise, check out the other videos on the channel. Thanks again, I'll see you in the next video.